Besmayab, Waweld, Mefeskadus, and Amlak. Besmayab, Waweld, Mefeskadus, Adu Amlak. Besmayab, Waweld, Mefeskadus, Adu Amlak. Blessed love, good morning. On this Sabbath day, hence I'm wearing the Nutella because it's Sabbath. I'm in different surroundings. I'm in a hotel room somewhere in the northwest of England this morning, but have Bible and will travel, and I will continue with the reading of the Ethiopian Bible a chapter a day. And we're now on chapter 14, so I'll get straight to it. And it comes to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Ararak, king of Elasa, Charaledamor, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of the nations. And they have made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bisha, king of Gomorrah, and Shinab, king of Adama, and Shenema, king of Zalbon, and king of Bela, which is Zor. And these have been joined together to the valley of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea, for 12 years, and they served Chaldamar, and the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year, Chaldamar and the kings who are with him, and they strike in Rephaim, in Ashtaroth, Kelnem, and the Zuzim in Ham, and in Erim, in Shavna, Kirathim, and the Horatites in their Mount Shur to El Paran, which is Idle by the wilderness. And they turn back, and they come to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and they strike the whole field of the Amakite, and also the Amorite who is dwelling in Hazaron Tamar. And the king of Sodom goes out, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zobon, and the king of Bela, which is in Zor, and they set it array and battle with them in the valley of Siddim, with Chaldamar, the king of Elam, and the tidal kings of nations, and Amraphel, the king of Shinar, and Arak, the king of Alasar, 4 kings with the 5. And the valley of Siddim is full of Bujamin pits, and the king of Sodom and Gomorrah flee, and they fall there. And those that left have fled the mountain, and they take the whole substance of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the whole of their flood, and go away. And they take Lot, Abraham's brother's son, seeing him dwell in Sodom, and his substance, and go away. And one who is escaping comes and declares to Abraham the Hebrew, and he is dwelling amongst the oaks of Mamre and Amorite, and the brother of Eshcol, the brother of Anor, and they are Abraham's allies. And Abram hears that his brother has been taken captive, and he draws out his trained servants, 318, and pursues to Dan. And he divides himself amongst them, against them at night, and he and his servants, and strikes them, and pursues to Haboth, which is at the left of Damascus, and he brings back the whole of the substance. And he has also brought back his brother Lot and his substance, and also the women and the people. And the king of Sodom goes out to meet him after his turning back from striking of Chaldamar, and of the kings who are with him, the valley of Shevna, which is the king's valley. And Melchizedek, the king of Salem, has brought out bread and wine, and he is priest of the God of the Most High. And he blesses him, saying, Blessed is Abraham to the God the Most High, possessing the heavens and the earth. And blessing is God's Most High, who has delivered your adversaries into your hand. And he gives him 1/10 of all. And the king of Sodom says to Abraham, Give to me the persons, and take the substance to yourself. And Abraham says to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand to Yahweh, God the Most High, possessing the heavens, from the thread even to the shoe straps. I do not take anything which you have, that you do not say, I have made Abraham, and I do not want you to say, I have made Abraham rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men who have gone from me. Anna, Eshcol, Mamre, let they take their portion. For these few words I give thanks. Blessed love. Yeah, not an easy chapter to read. There was lots of names there that I was struggling with. I hope that didn't get in the way of the narrative. I don't think it's one of the easiest passages to read, and I admit when I get faced with passages like this, yeah, it's sometimes a bit of a wade through, because it's going through lots of names and lots of details, and I think sometimes it can miss the story of the chapters, but just kind of reflecting on the details, because, you know, there's lots of mentions of kings there, and kings rising up against kings, and basically the king of Sodom. And in this chapter, it's the first chapter in the Bible where we hear mention of war, and the word war is used. So it's the first time we're seeing a battle. So it sets the scene for Abraham's, you know, the environment that Abraham was living in. So in that battle, and Lot is living in Sodom, as we heard in the previous chapter, and Lot is Abraham's nephew. So, and as it says in here, you know, Lot is taken captive with his wife and all his possessions. He's basically kidnapped by the king. And I think the key thing in this chapter, from Abraham's point of view, it shows his loyalty, because he goes and raises an army, and he then rescues Lot and his wife and all his possessions. So despite in the last chapter we saw that Abraham and Lot had fallen out, and actually they parted ways because they had a disagreement, it actually shows Abraham as a leader rising up and actually rescuing Lot. And then when it comes down, then in that later chapter it talks about how the king wanted, you know, accepted defeat, but then wanted to give Abraham the treasures and the wealth, because he was defeated in war, and wanted to give those to Abraham. And then Abraham basically refuses those treasures and says that I do not want you to say that I have made Abraham rich. He doesn't want to be beholden to the king of Sodom. And he wants to remain independent, because he knows that his leader is God and not an earthly king. So it kind of shows Abraham's integrity and the fact that he is faithful to God. He's just working on God's plan, as we saw in yesterday's reading. And he's not being swayed by material wealth, and is not also being bribed. You know, there's a famous quote that says, you know, man can't serve two masters. You know, and I think this really shows the faithfulness of Abraham, not only to his family in terms of rescuing Lot, but faithfulness in God, and not being swayed by the bribe or the riches that comes with free things. You know, he doesn't want free things, he just wants faith. And then finally we're introduced to Melchizedek, and Melchizedek's described as the high priest of the Most High, or the priest of the Most High. And Melchizedek is kind of a mystical character in the Bible. He kind of comes and goes, and he's often described as a precursor to Christ, in terms that he's come to man and to you know, redemption and blessings on man. So he's often seen as a precursor to Christ in what we call as the Old Testament. But Melchizedek gives a blessing to Abraham, basically blesses him and tells him, yeah, you know, that he's still on the track, he's still on his way, and tells him that he's going to be fruitful, tells him to stand firm, and then all will become manifested. So Melchizedek, yeah, is reaffirming to Abraham that his faith in God will be rewarded, and that he's on the right track. So yeah, very interesting chapter. I think it's a very difficult chapter, but there's a lot going on, a lot that can be kind of pulled out. So yeah, even at the end when Abraham says, you know, don't give me the riches, you know, basically pay expenses to some of the men from that had to go out of their way in terms of their food, etc. But don't give me the riches, give it to other people, share it out amongst the people. So it kind of shows again Abram's generosity, as well, which is why Melchizedek makes this first appearance and the first priest, the first mention of a priest in the Bible, and blesses him for his faithfulness. So yeah, a lot going on. Hopefully my clumsy wording didn't put you off of any of the interesting story in there, but I won't lie, it definitely was it's a difficult read. But yeah, I think it sows the seeds for what is gonna be coming up. So I'll end it there. Have a blessed day, one and all. Yet a breath for cure, blessed love, and see you tomorrow. One love.